9:01 now, so if there are no objections, we're going to go ahead and start the meeting. Warren Fiscal Court, Friday, November 6, 2020 is now called to order. And I want to welcome all of you and ask Esquire Doug Gorman to lead us in prayer and ask everyone to please stand for the pledge immediately following.
If you'd pray with me, Father, thank you so much for this day. What a glorious day it is. And no matter what happens, we all should know that you're ultimately in charge, and we're so thankful for that and the gift of your son, Jesus. Lord, I just ask you to be with this fiscal court and with elected officials across this country as they continue to do things that are in the best interest of all the citizens. Thankful, Lord, for the opportunity to have elections. Lord, thankful for us to be involved with that, and thankful for all of the outcomes. Lord, we have a great nation, we have a great community, and a great county, and I would just pray, Lord, that you continue to show your favor upon us, show your blessing upon this community, and have us do things that will be pleasing to you. And I ask all of this in your precious son, Jesus' name. Amen. And now if you'll please stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Esquire Gorman. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Esquire Gorman.
Here.
Esquire Payne.
Here.
Esquire Young.
Here.
Esquire Cummings.
Here.
Esquire McWhorter.
Here.
Esquire Lawrence.
Here.
Okay. All righty, we need to approve the minutes of the fiscal court meeting of October 28th, 2020. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Motion. Second, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second by Squire McWhorter. No additions or corrections. Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and now we need to approve the work schedule for the Warren County Road Department.
Don't move.
So moved, Squire Young.
Okay, let's say that again. Who would? I apologize. Was that Squire Payne?
Yes.
Okay, motion was Squire Payne, second by
Young.
Squire Young. Okay. Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to approve the personnel changes for Warren County.
So moved, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second.
Squire Young.
Squire Young. Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter.
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, with your all's approval, or if you don't, if no one objects, we're going to go on to, it's not on the agenda today, I don't think, but last meeting we approved the first reading of ordinance 2053 rezoning property located on Moorhead Road from agriculture to residential, single-family residential, containing approximately 48.3248 acres and presently owned by Mary Louise Smith Family Limited Partnership Number 1 and Southside Development LLC as the applicant. Now, as we said at the last meeting, there was a notice from a citizen that said that there would be a notice of opposition submitted, and Ms. Graham has submitted a written notice of opposition to the Planning Commission recommendation and request a hearing. So I'm going to ask, where is Ms. Milliken here? Ms. Milliken, if you could direct the court, and then we'll let Ms. Graham, I think Ms. Graham's on here.
She is, Your Honor. I see her.
Okay.
Judge Buchanan, I have had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Graham and also Kevin Brooks, who represents the developer. Ms. Graham has requested a hearing, and she's requesting a hearing on the record. Is that correct, Ms. Graham?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so she's requested a hearing on the record. So basically, she is asking this body to review the Planning Commission's hearing and to give her an opportunity to address this body. She's asking for about 10 minutes to make an argument. 10 minutes would be the maximum time. She can certainly take less. She thinks it'll take her less. And we would also afford the same opportunity to Mr. Brooks. We would give him 10 minutes as well.
Okay.
So this body just needs to vote on whether or not they will give her a hearing for the, based on this notice of opposition. And you really don't have to vote on the type of hearing because she's only requesting a hearing on the record. And if you do, we had previously discussed having it on November the 20th, which is our next regularly scheduled fiscal court meeting. And I would suggest we begin at approximately 8:30. That would give 10 minutes for each side and about 10 minutes to discuss. And if fiscal court started a bit late, I know that would shock everyone, but it would be okay. So.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we grant her an appeal on the record.
Okay, so you have a motion to allow a hearing on the record to be held by Magistrate Cummings.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion?
I second that, McWhorter.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Okay. Where did you go? Okay. Ms. Milliken, does Ms. Graham want to make a statement this morning, or do we need to go ahead and vote on this before?
Ms. Graham, if I have accurately stated everything, that basically, Judge, her argument would wait until November 20th. But if I have misspoken in any way, Ms. Graham, please feel free to correct me or add anything that you think I might have forgotten.
You got it all. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right.
So that's.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion from the fiscal court members? All right, please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor, Judge Buchanan, if I may also add, I just want to remind everyone that this body is sitting in a quasi-judicial setting, and I would ask that you not speak to either party concerning this notice of opposition and the hearing that's getting ready to follow on November the 20th at 8:30.
Okay, the hearing will be advertised and will be set for 8:30 here in the fiscal courtroom if we're meeting in person. And unless things change quite a bit, we will be meeting by Zoom because our trajectory right now is not favorable to meeting in person at the next meeting, but we'll see how that goes. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? Okay.
Just Ms. Graham or Mr. Brooks are both welcome to contact me if they have any questions before the 20th.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Graham, thanks for joining us on here. You're welcome to stay the rest of the meeting, or you're welcome to be excused. We won't be taking any action or discussing this further during this meeting. Okay. All righty. The next item is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2051, rezoning property located at a portion of 2100 Elrod Road from planned unit development to public, containing approximately 90.95 acres, presently owned by the Warren County School District Finance Corporation, Inc.
I move.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second by
Cummings.
Squire Cummings. All right. Questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, motion passes. Next item is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2052, rezoning property located at 318 Old Lovers Lane from agriculture to residential estate, or single-family residential, containing approximately 1.83 acres and presently owned by CMC Properties LLC.
So moved, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young,
Second, Squire Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Further discussion or questions, anyone? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Skipping item number 9, which has already been determined. Going to item number 10, is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2054, rezoning property located at a portion of 0 Smiths Grove Scottsville Road from agriculture to residential estate, containing approximately 1.324 acres and presently owned by James and Gina Word.
Motion, Gorman.
Motion by Squire Gorman. Second.
Second, Squire Young.
Second by Squire Young. Any questions or discussion? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 11 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2055, rezoning property located at approximately 5.02 acres and presently owned by Janetta Oliver and Terry Sims as the applicant.
So moved, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter,
Second, Cummings.
second by Squire Cummings. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 12 is to approve second and final reading of ordinance 2056, rezoning property located at a portion of 1310 Jack Smith Road from agriculture to residential estate, containing approximately 1.2169 acres, presently owned by Steve and Angela Chaffin.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings,
Second, by Young.
second by Squire Young. Discussion or questions? There being none, please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 13 is to grant judge executive authority to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Agriculture and Warren County for a grant in support of the spay-neuter pet procedures for the Humane Society.
Motion, Squire Lawrence.
Motion by Squire Lawrence, second.
Second, Gorman.
Second, Gorman. Squire Gorman, okay, any questions, discussion? Anyone? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 14 is to make part of the record the certificate of liability insurance for the CenterPoint Energy, Inc., including Energy Systems Group, LLC. Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, that's hereby ordered to be entered into the record. Item number 15 is to accept the lowest and best bid for cleanup of 7 illegal open dumps in Warren County. B&J Transfer at 282 Parsley Hill Road, London, Kentucky, will clean up the following, and that will be Brandon Tobacco Warehouse number 163871, J.L. Young Property number 16387, and Linda Matthews Property at number 164126 for a total of $45,278.40. And then MY, or My Projects, LLC, 236 State Street, Bowling Green, Kentucky, will clean up the following: Friendship Church Road, number 16387, Shive Lane, MHP, number 163873, and Lower Stone Avenue, number 163874, and Scoggins Road, number 163876, for a total of $56,098.40.
Motion to accept by Cummings.
Motion to accept by Squire Cummings, second.
Second by McWhorter.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Any additional discussion?
Judge, just making sure this is probably coming out of our legal dump sites. Stan, I don't see Stan on here. Is that being paid by the grant that we usually get for the state for these legal dumps? Not necessarily coming out of Warren County funds, right?
That's right.
It's a 75% grant from the state, and the 25% is paid through Warren County.
Thanks, Stan.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, motion approved. Next item is to approve order number 2023, reappointing Sarah Neal Cook and Don Cole to the Warren County Extension District Board.
So
So
moved.
moved, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young, second by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is to approve lease renewal agreement between Warren County Fiscal Court and the Unified Prosecutorial System in the amount of $57,687.68. That's per year.
Motion, Gorman.
Motion by Squire Gorman,
Second by Squire Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 18 is to approve budget transfers for Warren County.
So made, McWhorter.
Motion by Squire McWhorter, second.
Second, Gorman.
Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 19 is to approve the updated league documents for the Warren County Parks Department.
So moved, Esquire Payne.
Motion by Squire Payne. Second.
Second, Squire Lawrence.
Second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Oops. Item number 20, to approve determination in the amount of $10,140 to Hidden Valley Nursery LLC for a total of 60 Fall Fiesta sugar maple trees for Beach Bend Road improvements, and that's a single source provider.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings, second.
McWhorter.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Any discussion or questions?
Judge, I have a question for Josh. Josh, how far back are we gonna set these trees off the road?
You know, previously, so many of those trees were within right of way. We have worked with the property owners, you know, because we took down a considerable number of trees on their property. They're gonna be set back off right of way and on one particular side, behind and out of the electrical easement, so that we're not back in the same issue later when it comes to future maintenance.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, one more question, Josh. Is the road department, that's just, actually, these are for the cost of the trees themselves? The road department will be actually installing?
It won't be the road department. We're gonna work with, Chris and Timmy at the Parks Department to, have them, they've got the equipment to, auger the holes and the tree space to set them. And it will be probably a, team effort in keeping them watered for the first little bit. But yeah, that's the plan.
Any other questions? Comments? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 21 is to approve the 211 report for October 2020.
So made, McWhorter.
Motion by
Second,
Squire
Squire
McWhorter,
Lawrence.
second by Squire Lawrence. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 22 is to approve the new LED ball field lighting in the amount of $1,274,301 to Energy Systems Group, and this is paid for by the bond proceeds of the bond y'all have already approved and passed. And this is really an extension of our overall energy savings plan, which is saving us considerable amount of money each year. This particular project, it will save us, if it's anything like the rest of the project, it will save us more money than anticipated, but it's projected to save us $45,887, which will bring our total savings of the overall energy savings program to $350,000 a year. And you all recall the beginning of this process, we issued $5.7 million. Well, we issued bonds exceeding that, but so far it's been $5.7 million, which included upgrades at the jail, the courthouse, Justice Center, planning and zoning building, and the HVAC system is installed here at the courthouse, along with electrical upgrades. But that and several other improvements also included some fields at Basil Griffin Park, and the lighting improvement was so incredible, we decided to go ahead and continue this at Buchanan Park and Ephraim White Park on those ball fields. It makes a heck of a difference, and it gives us the ability to attract a lot more tournaments if we ever get back to where we can have some big tournaments. It puts us in a position to attract many more. I know I have John and Teresa are on this. I started to say FaceTime. It's a Zoom call. But does anyone have any questions of them, or would John, would you or Teresa like to make comments?
Judge, should we make a motion first and then have discussion?
Pardon me? Yes, yeah. Would anyone like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Squire Cummings, second.
Second McWhorter.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Now, is there any discussion at all? Are there any comments, John or Teresa? I see y'all both on here, but I hadn't heard your voices yet.
Good morning, Judge, Squires. Great to see each of you. I just hate that we can't be there in person. We're just really excited to do a little bit more work and upgrade the balance of your ball fields. We were very impressed with how it's worked and what it looks like, and I think you guys are as well. So we're honored to continue the work if you so choose.
Thank you, Teresa. I know John will do as good a job on these as he did on the previous installs. Any comments, John? Okay. Any questions by any of the fiscal court members? Okay. There being none, Ms. Hale, would you please call the roll?
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All righty, motion passes. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome to stay the rest of the meeting if you'd like, but I just, in case you've got something better to do, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Love seeing you guys' faces. I may hang for a minute. Thank you.
All right. Item number 23 is to grant authority for the Warren County Sheriff's Department to purchase through Enterprise Fleet Management Agreement 5 Tahoes and 6 Dodge Ram 1500 vehicles. Is there anyone that, I'm so sorry. We have a motion? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion with Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young, second.
Second by Squire Lawrence.
Squire Lawrence. Now, do you all have any question about any of these vehicles, or?
Judge, I'm just curious, I'm sure these vehicles are in a rotation type deal with Enterprise to be, taken out of service. So we're buying these vehicles, we assume they're taking this many vehicles out of service.
All these new ones. Sheriff?
Yeah, so how it works is basically, we've got 45 cruisers that for our 45 deputies, and that includes SROs and everybody. So what this is every year we really have to look at replacing, if we're on a 5-year rotation with those, 9 every year. And that's at minimum. Now, when we have accidents, when we have engine failures, when we have transmission issues, sometimes that plays a factor, just depending on, unfortunately, there's deer and everything else that we run across. So one of these 11 is going to that new SRO position out at the Board of Education. And like I say, they're paying, I think it's $350 per month. So we expect that over the life of that vehicle, they're kind of agreed to pay for half. And so that one will be paid essentially through them. So the plan is on these vehicles though, so that's kind of new, not in our fleet right now. We're replacing 5, or we're going to be selling back 5 other vehicles, 1 Tahoe and 4 Ford Explorers on the other ones. And so we also always have to kind of keep a few vehicles in our fleet plan for those situations where we have vehicle maintenance and accidents and other things before we can actually get, because it takes so long. Projection on these vehicles that we go ahead and make the order now, they probably won't be out until April. So we have a long way to go before they get in, and so we have to keep some vehicles just as a fleet plan for rotation of any vehicles that get damaged or anything. Once we get all those in, then we can sell the other ones. But initially, the idea is we're going to sell 5 back, and then take a look at the fleet, see how many miles we have on each one, and rotate those around. So we've got like 2 other older vehicles that are getting ready to be sold, which aren't really in our fleet, through Tommy's auction coming up. And then we have sold several others this past year and sent that money up to fiscal court. So anytime we sell a vehicle, that money goes right up to Greg and fiscal court for that. And so that's kind of how it goes. And so one of our other vehicles that we're going to be replacing, our animal control, has that larger truck. And so we're going to end up selling that truck back. The fuel mileage on that is not good. And we're using him more as a position of a deputy as much as animal control. And so being and getting in and out of places, that large truck just doesn't work as effectively. So in essence, yes, we're going to be selling back all the vehicles from these 11, but it's just not going to be a 1-for-1 immediately. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. I have a question about the animal control truck. So we are replacing that truck with a smaller animal control truck, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. There being none, please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, item number 24 is to approve the purchase of hardware for the tennis multipurpose building from Toadvine Enterprise in the amount of $732,717. This is Sourcewell pricing for the basketball, volleyball, and tennis court areas, and this is part of what was approved in the initial budget. If I'm misspeaking on that, Chris, you can correct me on that, but I believe that's exactly what was in there. Any questions? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion, Squire Young.
Motion by Squire Young, second.
McWhorter.
second by Squire McWhorter. Now, do any of you have questions for Chris?
Chris, Ron Cummings here. Are we buying this now and sitting on all this material, or are we gonna kind of wait until the building gets closer to completion, or how that, and I mean, the question for Greg too, is that part of the, bond issue that we're doing too, so it's really not two questions for two people, but, I mean, I'm spending that much money and, you know, building won't be ready for a year, just curious when we will purchase it.
Hey, Ron. Go ahead, Chris.
What we're doing with this is that in order for the prefabrication of the building to occur, because the building is going to be integrated with the hardware, the basketball goals, the volleyball goals, the curtains, all the netting for the tennis. In order to get that Porter equipment, who we're buying the equipment from via tow buying the seller, they've got to get approval and actually get it approved so that they can proceed with the configuration of the prefabricated metal building, because they're going to be kind of one of the same. And so what we're going to do is this will basically allow Porter to work with the prefabrication company. It will be approved in court, the money will be set aside, and once it's done, then we'll pay for that per this authorization. It will let them proceed, prefabricate the building, which will take several months, and the entire structure will be kind of together with the Porter equipment, and then the metal with the building. What will happen is when, as the project proceeds, which right now they're doing really well, they're ahead of schedule. As the project proceeds, as we are ready for this equipment, it will be stored off location at the vendor's site. And once we are ready for this, we will coordinate with Scott Murphy and Daniel to get this moved down to Warren County and installed.
Any other questions? Did that answer your question, Squire Cummings? Okay. Any other questions? Let's call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young, Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't hear Squire Young. Is he still on here?
For a minute.
Okay. I think we'll just have to book that with, oh, there you are. Squire Young?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this was the approval of the purchase of hardware for the tennis facility.
Yes, ma'am.
We just voted on it, but we didn't hear your
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a minute, Judge. Yes.
okay, all right, just want to make sure. Just wanted to log it correctly in the minutes. Okay, next item is to approve a determination in the amount of, approve change orders 1, 2, and 3 for Scott, Murphy, and Daniel in the amount of $37,798 for downspout extensions, existing electrical service grade conflict, and additional T9 pole for outdoor tennis courts to conform to USTA standards. We have a motion to approve.
So moved, Gorman.
Motion was Squire Gorman, second.
Cummings.
Who was that?
Cummings.
Squire Cummings. Okay. Do we have any questions for Mr. Comer on this? Okay. Anything you want to say, Chris, or we good? Everyone understands it, so I didn't know.
Yeah, just to let everybody know is we're working diligently with Scott Murphy and Daniel, Aces, and Sue and Sewell. And we're working really close with USTA, and this was on a second and third review of the lighting for that 8,967 request for change. Is that the lumens on the court were not sufficient for tournaments, and we're hoping, once we get out of COVID, we'll be able to do some substantial tournaments with the local tennis association. So That was one. Also, we needed to rob some additional dirt for the actual parking lot area and the outdoor tennis courts, and that was the other $21,000 that was requested. And then the second one is in the back of the building. We're having to put in a service road, which was part of the original plan to make sure that we have adequate fire coverage for the building. And looking on a second review, actually third review of the plans, we found that there was a slight adjustment that needed to be made in regards to the underground drainage for the existing gym. And so that was the third piece of the change order request. We've reiterated to both the construction company, engineers, and architectural firm that we are within a set budget and that change orders are to be kept at the bare minimum. But I do think that these three change orders were warranted and will enhance the project.
Any questions, anyone? There being none, please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 26 is to approve determination in the amount of $49,518 to Miracle Recreation at KPC pricing for new indoor playground for the new multi-sport facility.
Motion by Cummings.
Motion by Squire Cummings.
Second, Gorman.
Second by Squire Gorman. Discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Item number 27 is to approve order number 2024 surplusing property for the Drug Task Force, office equipment, and a 2005 Honda Odyssey and 1999 Dodge Durango. We have a motion to approve. Motion
So
to
moved, Squire Young.
Squire Young, second
McWhorter.
by Squire McWhorter. Discussion or questions?
Judge, I'm on here, I'm just gonna do the reminder of, at least the Odyssey will be in our auction, just November 20th. We'll be having that down at the Soke Market. Thank you for your help on arranging that, which will give us a roof over our head and, also be able to spread people out much better than on the sidewalk in front of the courthouse. And, as always, we appreciate, yours and the court's support.
Thank you, Mr.
Tommy,
Love.
what time is that, the 20th?
Good point. Thank you for asking. 4 p.m. Joe Houchins is doing the auction for us once again for free. And he suggested we try 4 p.m. instead of 1. He felt like it gave people, or more people, an opportunity to come out. And he certainly knows how to hold an auction, and I don't. So I went with his judgment.
All righty. Any other questions? Being none, let's call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yeah.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item number 28 is to pay the bills. Will the treasurer please present the claims to the court?
General Fund, $1,047,819. Road Fund, $74,970. Jail Fund, $279,822. Stormwater Fund, $23,660. Do you have to answer any questions?
Make a motion, we pay the claims as submitted.
Motion by Squire Young to pay claims as submitted. Do we have a second?
McWhorter, second.
Second by Squire McWhorter. Any discussion or questions? Please call the roll.
Esquire Gorman,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Young,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Cummings,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire McWhorter,
Yes, ma'am.
Esquire Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Sheriff, do you have anything you'd like to report?
Well, sir, it's just been a little bit busy lately,
Yeah.
with some things happening in the county with the election, with COVID and all that. But otherwise, we're making it happen. We appreciate the fiscal court support and the conversations I have almost weekly about different issues in the county. So thank you all so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll get this thing wrapped up with the election here soon, and we can go on and move into 2021. I'm excited about that.
I am too. Let's hope that 2021 is a little bit easier. Okay. Ms. Yates is busy with her duties finalizing the counting election ballots, the mail-ins. I think they had to be postmarked before Tuesday, or by Tuesday, and those that came in are all being checked and verified and counted by a group of people who are from both parties. Okay. Jailer Harmon, how are you?
Good, thank you, Judge. I wanted to give you a quick update. I know the community and the court, and also all the staff here at the jail are anxiously awaiting approval of our second submission of our written plan to get state inmates available to pick up trash in the community. As soon as that's approved, I'll let the court know. However, I think we'll still need to be very diligent about how quickly we put those crews back out to working in the community. Several jails around us, Barron, Allen, Grayson, and 2 of the prisons had COVID-19 outbreaks, had inmates admitted to the hospital for long periods of time. One of those counties had an inmate pass away. It was an older inmate that had other health issues as well. I think from a liability perspective, being that we're still closing down court hearings and county buildings, I think we have to be very diligent about how quickly we put people that are in custody back out to work. So I did submit the second plan addressing all of the extra concerns from the Department of Corrections. So I'll keep you updated on that. Also, with us holding all of the virtual court hearings, both circuit and district court and some family court here in Warren County and all of the surrounding counties seeing their inmates virtually, and all of the attorney meetings and federal hearings, both out of the Nashville district and the Louisville district, which help pay our bills. The staff that would normally be out on the road with crews picking up trash are inside conducting the court security function within the building because of COVID. And so even though you approved me for, it takes 6 or 8 actually to run all of that, but you approved me for new positions, we're still not full staff. And when we are, it'll take training time in order to put those crews all back to work. So I understand all of the comments and get calls every week, just as you all do there in the court, about trash pickup. And I understand the importance, and we need that work program. It's good for the community. It's good for the inmates. It's good for the Department of Corrections as well. I just want to give everybody an update and let you know that it is something that we'll do very cautiously when we're approved to do so. And I'll keep you up to date on that.
Thank you. I hope we can get that approved soon, but I agree with you that we're going to have to be very cautious about how and when we activate. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to be very cautious about everything in this region. Well, everywhere, but my concern is in Warren County because spread has picked up considerably over the last 3 weeks. We've gone probably 4 or 5 times as many people in the hospital now. We're really testing their capabilities, not only in rooms, but we're pushing their capabilities on manpower, on healthcare professionals. We really can't afford to do that. And I know that many of you have had friends who've passed away. I have. You've known a lot of people who've been deathly ill, and you've known a lot of people who've gotten COVID and had very few, if any, symptoms. But we have to be concerned about everyone in our community. When they're going to the hospital, they're not going to the hospital because they're having very few symptoms. They're going to the hospital because they need to be in the hospital. I talked to a guy yesterday, a friend of mine, who wears a mask all the time. He is concerned about COVID and has been from the beginning, and has distanced himself from everyone. But he got COVID, and he spent a week in the hospital, and he said he thought he was going to die. And I said, how in the world could you, of all people, have gotten COVID-19? He said, well, my mother came over to see me 2 Sundays ago, and who's going to cover up for your mother, because you think your mother is as family. Well, the truth of the matter is, if you're not around parts of your family every day in your household, or even those in your household for that matter, you don't know who they've been around, and you don't know whether they have COVID. His mother is still in the hospital and has not done as well as my friend. But the thing is, any one of us right now could have COVID and not know it. We may have the virus and not know it. So if we wear a mask, it's not to protect us so much as to protect everyone else we're around. So I'm asking all my friends and all the citizens of Warren County, please wear a mask. Please socially distance. Please don't sit in a bar in a crowded environment without a mask. Please don't go to wedding receptions where no one's wearing a mask. There are a lot of places that you can go if you will just listen to the advice of the CDC. If you'll look at what is important to keep you safe, you'll also keep the rest of your family safe. This is a community-wide problem. This is a worldwide problem, but it's for us. We're responsible for taking care of our community. I'm very concerned about the direction we're going right now. I believe a lot of people, most people have become a little too casual and are not protecting themselves as well as they should. And you don't know if they are or not, so just wear a mask around them. Keep your distance from everyone, and respect the fact that even though you feel like you have a right to not wear a mask and not socially distance, well, I guess you do. But when your rights infringe upon everyone else's health and safety, it's irresponsible. And you've got to recognize that. You have a right to go drink alcohol if you want, but you don't have a right to drive drunk. You don't have a right to endanger everyone else's life. And that's what you're doing when you ignore the good advice. I know some people don't believe in it, but I'm asking you personally, please take care of yourself, but protect the rights of everyone else by wearing a mask and staying distanced from them. We, as you might have noted, and it's not a very popular thing, but we had to close down the motor vehicle side of the, well, we didn't really have to close them down. We had to close the courthouse because we had someone in the courthouse, someone in the motor vehicle department who came down with COVID. So we closed down the courthouse for a few days here to get it deep cleaned and disinfected, get everything sanitized. Well, we've done that, and we'll open up the courthouse again Monday. But depending on how many people in the motor vehicle department have been exposed to this one person, then depending on how many people have been exposed, they may not be able to open the motor vehicle side of the clerk's office. We have to recognize that not everyone's trained to work and provide the services in the motor vehicle side. So if we don't have the manpower, we don't have the staff, the trained staff there to take care of the job, we won't be able to open that side of the office. So it could be closed for as late as November 19th, 18th or 19th. Anyway, that's a problem for a lot of people. It's not just an inconvenience. It's an inconvenience to everyone, but it's a problem to those people whose livelihood depend on accessing motor vehicle department. It's a problem to people who are trying to record documents, bills of sale, and so forth. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure you know this is unavoidable, and it's in the best interest of the health, safety, and welfare of all the people of Bowling Green and Warren County. But it's also, we have to protect the rest of our employees and staff. And depending on how many people have actually been an exposed contact, then we may need to have that office totally closed. Let me just say for the record, people who have had incidental contact or passed people by or stopped and said hello are not people who need to be considered exposed contacts. This is a general way of defining how people are considered exposed contacts. If you're a contact that's considered exposed, you spend at least 15 minutes with this person, and you've been within 6 feet. If you've been within 6 feet of this person for 15 minutes, the likelihood of being exposed is greater. If you've been across the room from someone for 15 minutes, if you're 20 feet away from them, the likelihood of you being exposed is fairly remote. So we're trying to assess the entire situation here, but we're not going to take any risk with the health of our staff or the people who they serve each day. And it's going to be a major inconvenience if we don't have enough staff to operate that office for the next 2 weeks. And I recognize that it's going to be more than just a small inconvenience for a lot of people as well. Anyway, thanks for bringing that up, Jailer Harmon. Mr. Comer, you have anything you'd like to share?
Judge, just wanted to give a quick update. As you and I have talked before, over the last 2 weeks, our gymnasium facilities have been shut down for the election setup and different things like that, which it went really well. Really appreciate Lynette and really appreciate Ronnie Pearson helping us with that. It's the first time we've ever kind of been involved with something like that, and it actually went really well. So the other thing is just wanted to give everybody an update. We have currently right now 13 employees that have been affected by COVID. So our Ephraim White Gymnasium has been closed for 2 weeks because of that. We have that facility is going to remain closed through November the 12th because of an outbreak there, and it could be extended to the 16th. And then we have 4 other park locations that have been affected. So we've instituted our continuity of operation plan. It's gone very well. all the park staff. We cross-train everybody, and we've been able to ensure operation at all the facilities with that, being sensitive to the fact that, we need the community's help in regards to making sure we can continue to offer you sports and activities, but it's going to take a community effort, just like you said, to make that happen. So currently we have all of our basketball resumption of play plans ready to go. We're working with our local leagues. Basketball season is going to look a lot different, just like volleyball season, baseball and softball season, inline hockey season has, but we can play sports, we can do activities. However, it will take a community effort to recognize that this is a little bit of a different time. So if we all work together, we truly believe we can continue to offer activities for citizens and the youth. So we appreciate everybody's patience and flexibility as we navigate these new times. We're probably going to have situations like this happen again. So please bear with us, and we're going to make sure that the facilities are safe, cleaned, and making sure that we're taking care of our staff so that we can provide the service to the citizens that we serve.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chris. Mr. Moore?
Thank you, Judge.
Nothing today?
No, I think it's been covered.
All right. Mr. Young, are you on here? Mr. Pearson, you've been busy.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for your words of wisdom. I think you spelled out everything the public needs to do. They just don't understand that COVID works in 2-week cycles. So what's happening today will be affecting us in 2 weeks or 14 days. So everyone just needs to be diligent and continue the good practices that mask and social distancing and good hand hygiene will help. Hopefully we can get this back to a manageable situation.
Let's hope and pray. Thank you. Mr. Brandstetter, I don't believe it joined us today. Mr. Appling? Not with us. Mr. Peterson?
Thank you, Judge. I hate to pile on, but we've had a similar situation. We've had somebody come in without a mask, found out they were, COVID positive, and, we've got one employee quarantined because of it. We continually have people come in without masks, and if they don't have them on, we ask them to put them on. We've had one refuse, but then finally left on their own volition, thank goodness. But, if we can't get cooperation for that mask wearing, I guess, we would have to consider closing the ability for the public to come in the office and just drop stuff off again, and we don't want to do that. We want to, keep things moving the best we can. So as everybody else has said, it's not just about you. It affects everybody else and affects the business practices. So with that, I'll just thank you, Judge, and we'll keep moving along.
Thank you, Ben. Is Mr. Lackey on here? Okay. Mr. Markram?
Thank you, Judge. All well here. Hope everything's good with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone on here, any of the fire chiefs? No? Okay. I do want to say that the election process here in Warren County went remarkably well. 3 weeks of early voting at SkyPack was without a wrinkle. I want to thank all of the department heads and their staff for helping Ms. Yates and her staff, and I know she appreciates it very much. And I'm telling you, if the only disappointment I had with it has nothing to do with how well the clerk's office handled it. I think the clerk's office had it more organized than I've ever seen. The disappointment I have with it is that it moves so smoothly and so quickly that it's easy to recognize that we could have actually, in those 6 locations on Election Day, we could have had 10 times as many people vote and never had a line. It was incredible. I went down there on a lunch hour on a Wednesday, got at the back of the line. I was leaving after voting in less than 5 minutes. I'd gone through the line, voted, and the line, I guess, lasted 15 seconds. They were moving them through so well. I was really impressed, but I was also thinking about how many more people could have voted. I expected to have a much greater percentage of the public to vote than did. And I don't know whether it was the confusion of not having 89 precincts to vote in, or whether they just felt like they just didn't have time to go vote. But I was expecting a greater percentage on Election Day, and at no fault of the clerk's office at all, but the public did not turn out. And the ones who did had no wait. It was amazing how quickly and how smoothly the Election Day process went. And I'm thankful to Ms. Yates and all of her staff, and thankful to all of you all from the various departments who helped in getting this set up and broken down. Mr. Comer told me that they broke down one polling place. I can't remember which one it was, but anyway, they had it all broken down within 45 minutes the night right after the election closed. So it's amazing how quickly and how smoothly things can go when you have everybody working in the same direction for the same goals and objectives. And I want to thank all of you all for doing that. I guess, Squire Gorman, do you have anything you'd like to share with the rest of us?
Judge, I just appreciate the opportunity to be on here, but I do want to, again, like everyone else, think the Lynette Yates and her entire team did a tremendous job.
They did.
And again, personal opinion, I hope that we continue to see early voting.
I do too.
Which will eliminate the need for absentee voting and mail-in voting unless you're out of the country or out of the state on Election Day. And but I think the early voting is a great thing, and there is always change that happens, and maybe that's a positive thing that comes from it. But I just appreciate the opportunity to go down to Skypack myself 2 weeks before the election, and very seamless, and what a great job. That entire office, though, has been worked to death, and people can say what they want. It is a lot of stress. They work late nights, start at 3:30 in the morning Election Day and got home 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. So these men and women that work in the clerk's office have done a great job.
They did.
And Mike, I want to share with you during your speech, she didn't go to sleep, and that was important as well. So thank you so much, and hope everyone has a blessed weekend.
All right, thank you. All right, Squire Lawrence.
Yeah, Judge, I'd just like to encourage everybody to be safe. You know, I see this uptick in the coronavirus around, and I've heard people say before the election that the day after the election, the coronavirus will be gone, but we can see clearly that's not true, and I just want to encourage everybody to continue to wear their mask and try to be safe and look out for everybody around you.
Thank you. Squire Payne?
Judge, I just like to tell everybody to be safe and do the smart thing.
Okay. Squire McWhorter. Squire McWhorter?
He's teeing off.
I see him on here. Can you hear me, Rex? We can't hear. I can't hear him. Okay. All right, we'll move on to Squire Young.
Thank you, Judge. Again, like everyone else, just like to express my thoughts about the virus. You hear things that, just makes your skin crawl, people that knowingly have the virus being out in public.
Yeah.
Without mask, have no regard for, the general public. These individuals, I don't know what you can say about them, but it would be a terrible thing for me personally if I knew that I gave somebody the virus and that individual passed away or had complications later or for the rest of their life because of what I did. So, and another thing, the mail-in ballot issue, there are a lot of people that utilize that process, whether they're in nursing homes. They don't necessarily have to be out of the country. That is a process that's been in effect for years and years. So a lot of people use it, a lot of people need it. I support it. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Squire Young. Squire McWhorter, are you back yet? Have you got sound for Squire McWhorter? No sound. I'm sorry. But thank you. Squire Cummings?
Thank you, Judge. I just want to say thanks to everybody that was involved in the election process. Has already been said. Great job by all the people locally. And, just want to say thanks for all that everybody does and again, to be safe and smart out there. So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you. There's no smoking during court there, Squire McWhorter. All righty. Ms. Milliken? Are you with us, Ms. Milliken?
I am, Judge. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Mr. Burrell?
Thanks, Judge.
Deputy Judge Smith? Okay. Ms. Hale?
Oh, thank you, Judge.
Okay. We don't have anything else to come before this body. I want to remind everyone again, wear your mask. Please socially distance, wash your hands, do all the things that you know you're supposed to do to protect yourself, but to protect your family and all your friends. Our next fiscal court meeting will be Friday, November 20th at 9 a.m. However, I need all of you all to be on here before 8:30 a.m. because at 8:30 a.m. is when we will have the special hearing for Ms. Graham and the neighbors that she represents. Is there anyone else that would like to bring anything up before we leave? Do we still not have any sound with Squire McWhorter?
He has to unmute himself if you want to hear him.
Oh, he has to unmute himself.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Well,
It might be a safe thing for us to have Rex on mute for the rest of the meeting, Judge.
yeah, I agree. Well, meeting this way is second best, that's for sure. It's better to meet in public, but we also have to recognize that we're trying to protect everyone around us as well. So if there are no other business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Squire Cummings, second.
Second, Gorman.
Second, Squire Gorman. Thank you all.